In today's Necron Tactics 2020 video, I'm going to answer the ultimate Necron question. Necron Immortals Gauss or Tesla? It's coming right up.
Necrons!
Testing 1, 2, 3. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. And if you're new to the channel and you want to keep up to date with all things Necrons, then please subscribe and hit the bell button to turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so today we're looking at the Necron Troops Choice Immortals. Now, Immortals per model are actually more expensive than our Warriors. However, Warriors have a minimum squad size of 10 and Immortals are just 5. That makes Immortals great for unlocking our battalions and command points. Plus you can gain a 2+ save when you're in cover. Very useful indeed. However, Immortals have 2 gun options, and depending on who you speak to, well, you'll get a different answer to which one you should be taking. And today I'm going to try to answer this ultimate question. I'm going to compare the 2 gun options, and I'm going to look at some math hammer to find out which one is best. Oh, by the way, I unlocked YouTube membership. A massive thank you to everyone who's become a member. And if you want to become a member yourself, then check out the join button to find out more. Okay, so here we go. Now this could be quite interesting, a little bit different than usual, because the stats line of the Immortal, which uses the same data card of course, is exactly the same. So in this video we are literally just comparing the Gauss versus Tesla Immortal options. I'm going to do a little tick system as always, so let's have a closer look at the guns. Now both gun options, the Tesla carbines and Gauss blasters, have a range of 24 inches. The Gauss blasters are a rapid fire 1, that's 1 shot at 24 inches and 2 shots at half range. Tesla carbines have 2 shots and they're an assault weapon. That's 2 shots at 24 inches, earning Tesla carbines the first tick. Now both of the gun options have the same strength, strength 5. However, the Tesla option doesn't have any AP, no armour penetration value, and the Gauss blaster, well that does, it's -2 AP, and that's a tick for the Gauss blaster. Now both guns do the same amount of damage, 1 point of damage for each gun. However, the Tesla carbine has a special rule where if you roll a 6 to hit, you get 2 extra hits. So that's 3 hits for every 6 that you roll. And that means it's another tick for Tesla carbines. Now that is all of the stats compared, and as you can see it's 2-1 to Tesla. They win. Okay, well thank you for watching. What do you mean? There's other things to consider? Okay, let's have a look at them. Okay, so let's delve a little bit deeper than that into these 2 guns, and first of all let's talk about the range. As an assault weapon, the Tesla carbine gives you the ability to advance and still shoot 2 shots after advancing. Now if you've got My Will Be Done on the unit as well from an Overlord or a command barge, well then you've got 0 penalties to your dice rolls. This will give you better movement on the Immortals if you need to get those 24-inch guns in range. And of course if you're in the Necron dynasty, well actually you'll be auto-advancing 7 inches with My Will Be Done. Now the rapid fire 1 Gauss blaster can be turned into an assault weapon if you advance, if you're in the Sotek dynasty. However, it's still an assault 1 weapon rather than the 2 shots from the Tesla. Now there's no doubt that -2 AP is really good, especially in rapid fire range and especially against, well let's face it, Space Marines. So if you're using your Immortals maybe more aggressively and you are getting them close in range, maybe you're using the Veil of Darkness, don't forget you can My Will Be Done the unit, you can then Veil and they will keep the My Will Be Done. That was FAQ'd.
Yes! Necrons!
Aggressively played Gauss Immortals can do a lot of damage, especially if you're in the Mefret dynasty, which, let's face it, if you're at half range, is probably the best dynasty to have. That makes you a -3 AP, strength 5 gun, rapid fire. That is actually very nice. However, if you're not going to be quite as aggressive with your Immortals, maybe holding them back, taking the midfield or just taking backfield objectives, 2 shots at 24 inches is very useful, especially when they're exploding. And as I said, with My Will Be Done, we can +1 to that hit, so we'll be exploding on 5s, and then we can explode on 4s if we're also using the Sotek methodological destruction stratagem. It's pretty clear that both gun options are actually very good under the right circumstances. Gauss blasters have the quality and Tesla carbines have the quantity, and to be fair, quantity over quality usually wins. The more dice that you make your opponent roll, the more saves that they have to make, well, the more chance there is of something going wrong. Go away! So in terms of quantity of shots, of course the Tesla seems to be winning quite well here. However, -2 AP on Gauss, and that's got to be its biggest and strongest winning point. And I think now it's time to have a closer look at some math hammer. If you're not sure what math hammer means, it basically means the chances when rolling dice, the results that should happen on the table to give you the ultimate answer. Now, I generally don't do math hammer, so the mathematical equations I'm just about to show you, they're not mine, they're something I found on the internet, but the equations do the equivalent of Gauss versus Tesla at standard range and also rapid fire range, and also with My Will Be Done. So it's quite an interesting read, and I've been studying this chart quite heavily and I've got some results, so let's have a look at the chart. So on the left there we've got the target unit, what toughness and what save it has. And then we've got some statistics for Tesla carbine and also Gauss blasters, and Gauss blasters at rapid fire range. Now, looking at the results here, the Gauss blaster at 24 inches, as you could probably imagine, has 0 wins when it comes to comparing Tesla versus Gauss blasters. The rapid fire range is where it's at. In actual fact, on the first chart, without any My Will Be Dones, the rapid fire Gauss blaster wins 4 of the different categories, and the Tesla carbines is 3. Now, the interesting thing is the Tesla totally loses the battle between Gauss and Tesla at both ranges when it comes to toughness 4 with a 2+ save and 5+ invulnerable save. The key thing is the 2+ save, because obviously that is quite difficult to get through if you don't have any AP. Now, we can of course take different dynasties to give us different APs, but just as a gun itself, the Tesla does lose out in this particular category. However, the winning Gauss blaster in this range is at 12 inches. At 24 inches, no contest. At 12 inches, well, it does tend to fare better, especially at toughness 4 with a 2+ save and also with the 3+ save. Gauss also works better against vehicles, but all of this is at 12 inches. At 24 inches, a totally different story, and of course we've also got to factor in My Will Be Done. So once we've got My Will Be Done onto these units, +1 to hit, where Tesla starts to turn around the results a little bit more, mainly because you've got more dice to roll, which means you've got more chance of rolling 6s to get the extra hits. Now, at 24 inches, once again the Gauss blaster is absolutely no contest, with Tesla carbines winning every category this time round with My Will Be Done. In rapid fire range, it's a bit closer, with 4 wins for Tesla and 3 wins for Gauss. Gauss still being the best at toughness 4 with a 3+ save and a 2+ save. Now once again, that's at 12 inches on the Gauss blaster. As soon as you go into 24 inches, there's absolutely no contest. The Tesla carbine is the outright winner. And this doesn't include things like our stratagem, methodological destruction, the SOTEC stratagem that also can give us the chance of getting another +1 to hit. That means on a 4+, we'll be getting 2 extra hits. That's a lot of shots. Plus, if you've got a Triarch Stalker on the table with targeting relay, well, you could be re-rolling the fouled 1s to hit. More chance of getting those 4s. Of course, if you're in the Nihilic dynasty, you can re-roll the 1s to hit anyway if you don't move. So yeah, a lot of options when it comes to Tesla. So Tesla wins the math hammer. However, there are other things to consider. Things like, what else have you got in your army list? Now you may have a themed army, maybe all of your guns are Tesla or all of your guns are Gauss. Well, that's fine, of course, but I think it's actually a very good idea to have a nice mixture of these two weapons. And that's what I do. When I look at my Immortals, I think, can the rest of my army deal with a 3+ save or a 2+ save without me having Gauss on my Immortals? If I've got enough destroyers, maybe I've got wraiths or something like that, well, I can afford to put Tesla on my Immortals with no trouble at all. However, if I'm taking things like annihilation barges or other Tesla weapons and there's not much Gauss on the table, well, of course, Gauss could be more important on those Immortals. Now, of course, you're also going to have to take into consideration your opponent's army, especially if you're playing the same people, the same armies every week. If there's not much armour on the table, well, of course, you're not going to need as much Gauss. However, that can be classed as list tailoring, and personally, I don't like to do that. I prefer to have a good mixture of Gauss and Tesla on the table. Tesla Immortals, particularly as we've seen, are very good, and then I'd use things like destroyers for my Gauss. Now, I've already made a video on Necron destroyers, comparing them to heavy destroyers, and I would definitely recommend you have a look at that video. And here's a video that YouTube thinks you may like. Beam me up.